Well, hello and welcome to APA's very first World PhotoFest. Today we're celebrating International World Photography Day. I'm Travis Keys. I'm chairman of American Photographic Artists New York, and I'm a photographer. And I want to bring right in, I want to introduce Deborah Gilbert. This would not have come together without all her wonderful producing talents and event skills and really kind of pushing me to do an amazing thing, and all of us at APA. And I also want to introduce our wonderful first talk, which is Vanessa Joy, 7 Ways to Market Your Photography Now. Thank you so much for joining us, guys. And it's such a pleasure to have you here. And I have to ask, Vanessa, what is photography to you?
You know, photography to me, I'm very practical person. So first thing I thought of was, oh, it's how I pay my bills and I feed my children. but ultimately, it's always been to me the way that I speak when I don't have words. So
I love it. Short and sweet. Deborah, you brought us Vanessa. Why don't you introduce her for us?
Sure. Vanessa is, she's one of the country's top wedding photographers, and she's also a Canon Explorer of Light, which is rare to be in that category, and even more rare for a wedding photography to be in that category. And if you ever watch Adorama's YouTube channel, you see some videos from Vanessa, so that's where you may see her from. And she has quite a few instructional videos there. And this may be time to mention that that Adorama is a partner of APA, and if you're an APA member, you can get a 10% discount across the board to any purchases at Adorama, which is one decent sized purchase pays for your membership. So, and that's unheard of. That's a crazy great member benefit. So, but without further ado, and also look at the lighting in Vanessa, the way she's sitting there, and she looks like she's like this, you know, you can see she's a high-end like lifestyle blogger. The lighting, everything is perfect and everything. So, you know, she knows what she's talking about. So without further ado, here's Vanessa Joy.
hello, everyone. So thank you so much for that intro. That was amazing. So today we're talking about 7 ways to market your photography, whether it's photography business or just getting your photography work out there. I think it's a really good time to talk about this. I have been talking about it through the entire 2020 experience. We'll just call it that. And, you know, there's a lot to do. There's a lot to do. The truth is that by the end of this presentation, you will have 7 ideas to boost your business. We're going to talk about why people really fail and why you will not, but you need to get your pens ready. While there might only be 7 ideas, there are homework items underneath all of those ideas. Hopefully by the end of this, your brain will absolutely be bursting with ideas and things that you can do to benefit your business. I'm sure some of the things I'll talk about you have heard already, and some of them you haven't. So pull all of the information that you can in order to get the most out of this. We will start by talking about a little condition that I like to call excusitis. And it's the severe condition of thinking you can do nothing about your current circumstances, about your situation, or blaming other people for your outcomes. In our world today, it's not blaming people for our outcomes, but it's really easy to blame a pandemic for the outcome. And, you know, you'd be right in a lot of ways to blame it. But what I'm hoping that we do today, instead of being suckered into excusitis, is work on the one thing or multiple things that we can actually do right now. So I'd like to start off a lot of my presentations by telling you to leave your butts at the door. So your excuses, your excusitis, don't look at the things that I'm going to tell you and think why they won't work for you, or think that you've tried them already and that's not going to work. I want you to find the things that are going to work so that you can move forward regardless if the rest of the world is moving backwards, because it definitely seems to be moving backwards. I love this. I don't know if you guys are Friends people, but I certainly am. So I have to start off a little bit of memes. We started off really happy in 2020, and now we're all just stuck home drinking on the couch because, and you can, by the way, in the chat, raise your hand if at all that looked like you. It certainly looked like me, especially in the very beginning of all of this. But there is a lot that we can do regardless of basically the whole world's going down and going into shams. So it is time to get up. This is one of my favorite quotes by Dave Ramsey. It says, work is a surefire money-making schemes. And I think you know that often, especially in photography, I do have to say this, and you probably have experienced this sometimes, maybe when you're looking on YouTube or you go on Instagram and you see these photographers and they have hundreds of thousands of followers, and in your head you're thinking, you know, I've seen better photography than that. You know, a friend of mine does better work than that, but he struggles to put food on this table. And the truth is, often the people that rise to the top aren't necessarily the best in that field. They're simply the ones that work the hardest. And it's a hard pill to swallow, but really we need to make sure that we are working the hard stuff. You know, the real work in photography, it's not easy, or everyone would be doing it. In fact, everyone in a way does do that because they pick up their iPhone and take pictures and somehow do a lot of that. But the ones that are photographers, that are career-long photographers, those are the ones that are working the hard stuff, the big things, achieving the big dreams, all those cliche things. So if you have seen people, and I want to see this in the chat, if you have seen people this year, and I'm not talking about just photographers, anyone in the world, if you have seen people, if you have seen companies be successful in 2020, just type yes in the chat. It could be someone you don't know, like Elon Musk, let's just say. I would say he's thriving right about now, right? He was just announced, I think, the 4th richest person in the world, despite our economy tanking. If you might know someone personally, maybe it's somebody who pivoted and, you know, changed their careers. So if you know somebody like that, look at them. Are they sitting back and letting 2020 happen to them? No, they're getting up, they're working the hard stuff, they're doing whatever has to be done in order to succeed or perhaps survive, either one. All right, so we're going to count backwards from all of the 7 tips that I have to give you. Please burn holes in your notepads as we get into this. So number 7, your activity, your homework item is you need to look in the mirror. Now, I don't mean the actual mirror or, you know, your camera. I want you to look in the mirror of your brand, your photography, your website, all of it. And here are the questions that you want to ask yourself. Number 1, what you are presenting, does it have a cohesive style? So the photography that is out there publicly to the world, is that a cohesive style? Now, I'm not telling you that you have to photograph the same pictures all the time and you have to have, I don't know, dark and moody, or you have to have crazy colorful or light and airy. I'm not saying that. What I am saying is there a cohesive style to your photography that even consumers can find recognizable. Number 2, is your social media validating you? Because truthfully, clients, and you probably do this too, I bet you do this, when you go look at Adderall and you're on their website and you're thinking of buying something, what do? You go to their Twitter to see if anyone's complaining about them. You go to their Instagram to see if they're active. Social media credits you, makes you credible to people who don't really know who you are yet. So is your social media validating you, or is it making you look like a hack that might just fold up business and take your money? Something to think about. Is your website dated? That's a huge part for 2020. Honestly, it started in 2019. But is your website updated? I recently revamped it. Just got done 2 weeks ago. So please, if you have time, vanessajoy.com. Then I would love to hear your thoughts. Please, by all means, catch any typos that are there. I would love to know if I have any typos. And you can also click on the top menu item, Pro EDU. That'll send you to the other website that I completely revamped. So check your website. Is it updated? Is your newest work on there? Because while people do, maybe find you on social media and just contact you, some are still going to your website. A lot of people are probably going to your website. So does it look like you today, or does it look like you 5 years ago? You want to make sure it looks like you today. Number 4, are you the same person everywhere? Now, this is an interesting concept because as photographers, We take a lot of pictures. We probably have a few pictures of ourselves, and we put them on various platforms. But if someone goes to your Facebook page, can they tell when they switch over to your Instagram or to your website or your LinkedIn or wherever that it's the same person? Personally, I choose to have my profile photo be exactly the same across the board. It's branding. You know, they say that you have to see a logo 7 times before it's recognizable to you. Well, I'm doing the same thing with my face and my logo. I have it the same. I'm the same person everywhere. I use actually the same images over and over and over again. And I guess, you know, again, we're photographers. It's kind of boring to us. But this picture right here that you see is on my Instagram. It's on my Facebook. It's on my website. You see it all the time. And I post it actually repeatedly because I'm trying to create that brand awareness so that people recognize me and my work no matter what platform they are on. Okay, are you showing work to attract the right clients? That one is a big one, especially right now. So if you go to my Instagram, if you guys want to, pick up your phones and just go to @Vanessa Joy. If you look at the work right now, you will see a heck of a lot more maternity photos than I have ever shown. Why am I doing that? Because we probably all know that there are a lot of quarantine babies that were made early in the year. And since I am primarily a wedding photographer and weddings simply are not happening or they're happening at a very different scale, I've decided that I want to attract all of those maternity session clients and the people that I know got knocked up during quarantine when they were home alone and couldn't go anywhere with their spouses or significant others. So I am showing clients for now, the ones that are going to help me make money right now. So that's a lot. That was a lot. Did I already go over time? No, we're good. Number 6, clean your mouth. And I don't mean wash it out with soap or hot sauce or whatever your parents did to you. What I want you to take a look at is your communication settings for your clients. And I say settings because I don't really mean, you know, I do mean how fast you get back to them or the words that you specifically use when you speak to prospective clients or existing clients. Instead, I want you to look at the workflow that you have in place. So let's take a look at that. For example, this right here is an email that I send about 3 months before I photograph my client's wedding. And this is specifically for weddings. I do this for portrait sessions sometimes too, but it wouldn't be 3 months before because they typically book me, you know, only a couple weeks beforehand. We're another month closer to your wedding. Can you believe it? You'll soon have so many beautiful photos. You won't know what to do with them. The best advice I can give you is to start thinking about it now. Check out this blog post to see all sorts of fun ideas about using your wedding photos as home decor. And then I have a link right there that goes to a blog that shows off stuff that you see behind me, the stuff on the wall, stuff on the tables. And what am I doing here? Not only am I constantly communicating with my clients, and I am making sure that, hey, I'm here, I know you exist, because it's a funny little separation sometimes between when they book me to when their actual shoot date is. I'm constantly communicating with them, but I'm also pre-marketing products to them, printed products. As much as we all love to give digital files, that's great. That's not what makes us the most money. Selling printed products, not only does it make us more money, but it helps our work actually be seen and last longer than digital files that get lost very, very easily. I always tell my clients, you know, your kids, they're not going to, you know, plug in the USB drive that I give you. They're going to stumble across an album one day in the closet and go, oh my gosh, mom and dad, grandma and grandpa, this is your wedding album? So printed products are key. I market my printed products to my clients well before I ever ask them to buy them. But this is a type of communication. So I want you to go through and look, are you communicating with your clients regularly? Maybe if you're a photographer that doesn't, you know, do weddings, but you do portraits or families or fashion, it doesn't even matter what it is, you probably have a client list, a client base. Find ways to continually communicate to them and potentially market the things that you are doing. So here are some things to look for. How often are you communicating with your clients? At minimum, I would say once a month. Are you clear and concise? Notice how short that email was. It was a sentence and then a mini paragraph full of 2 sentences. That's it. Nobody wants to read your long novels unless it's like your mom. I'm pretty sure my mom reads every single long novel that I write, but she's the only one. Any other time that I'm communicating to my clients, you would know this if you're on my email list, very few words. Sometimes a lot of pictures, sometimes some links, but very few words. Clear and concise and mobile friendly. Are you marketing? Are you marketing the things that you're doing, the types of sessions, and not in your face all the time, but subtle and strategic? And finally, do you have a drip campaign in place for new leads? And I'm very curious. I've been looking at the chat, by the way. I saw all of your yeses before. I'm very curious how many of you are doing a drip campaign in place for new leads. And here's what that looks like if you're not totally sure what that is. So if you go to my website, this is my new website, and you scroll down, this little pop-up comes up on the bottom right. And it's, do you want to look amazing in photos? Actually, I think I just changed it yesterday. And now it's, do you want to save a bunch of money on your wedding? What does that do? They enter the email address. It goes into my system, which I have set up at stickymarketingtools.com. And they get, I want to say it's 7 emails over the course of 2 weeks, maybe 8 emails. And each one of them has a new tip on how to look amazing in your photos or how to save money on a wedding. So I constantly contact with, and I'm giving them something. I'm giving them something of value. Usually at the bottom or somewhere in there, there'll be some kind of link to, hey, check out what we're doing on Instagram, or PS, have you found a photographer for your event yet? Check out, if we're available for your day here. I also have this listed on my Instagram. So if you go to my Instagram, in addition to, it does say free posing guide there, you are welcome to grab that, of course, too. But if you go to my link, a bunch of links pop up, and one of the first ones right there is, do you want to look amazing in photos? It actually pops up also on that link tree, along with a bunch of other free things to give them. So this is not just for photographers trying to sell you something, because I think all the photographers trying to sell you something are really good at those emails, because quite frankly, we were taught it, and guess what? They work. But we're also trying to provide something of value, and you can do the exact same thing to your clients. And again, it's just letting them know that, hey, I'm still here. I still exist. I still want to work with you. So it's a really great way to do that. And on top of it, it's set it up one time and forget it. Oh, by the way, see, maternity photo right there in the second photo. See, told you. Still got the engagements and weddings, so. All right, counting down, we're down to number 5, get a date. So now is the time where you need to go dating, and not dating somebody you want to actually date and spend your life with, but dating the professionals and colleagues within the industry. So if I can challenge you to do this, here's what I want you to do. Make a list. Make a list of all the different colleagues in your industry. So for me, what that looks like as a wedding photographer, that means I want to make a list of all of the venues that I want to work with, all of the florists that I know, all of the wedding planners, things like that, right? In my industry, that if I form a relationship with them, could potentially lead to jobs. Now, I don't want you to think of this as, let me make a list of all the people like upper echelon above me and then start DMing and emailing them and asking them to go on coffee dates or whatever. Instead, try to find lateral peers as opposed to like up here peers, because the people up here, you know what? 10 years ago, they found their lateral peers, and those are the people they grew with. Instead, find your lateral peers, or even some people that you would consider, newer in photography than you, and we'll get to more of that later, but find them and start strengthening relationships. Relationships are one of the first things that go right out the window when we get too busy, right? We forget to network. We don't go to marketing mixers. We forget to send emails and happy birthdays and everything else. So try that. Make a list. Even if you don't know them, but maybe you know them a little bit, send them an email if you have it. Send them a direct message on Instagram, Facebook, whatever your medium is, and just try to make some connections. It's kind of like dating. You'll get, 10 rejections and maybe 1 yes, but that's okay, because that 1 yes could lead to a lot within the industry. And if you are still staying home, you know, you don't have to make it stiff. Invite everybody to do a house party. If you guys have done house parties, let me know. They're a lot of fun. You play games on your phone while you're video chatting with other people, or you can just video chat with them, or you can Zoom with them, Zoom happy hours, which is happening at the end of today, Zoom happy hour. So just find a way to connect with people. Sometimes, even if it's just a text message here and there, that's all you need to get a relationship started. All right, I must be giving you a lot of good advice because I'm already dry mouth. Number 4, down to number 4, direct mail. You know, everyone right now is all about social media, but something funny happens. So it used to be direct mail, right? Well, before that used to be the phone book is how you would advertise. Then it was direct mail, and now it's mostly social media. So if everybody is kind of here in social media, right, it's hard. It's very difficult to do your advertising there or be seen out of the crowd. But you know where it's not hard to be seen anymore? Direct mail and the phone book, but nobody has a phone book anymore. Direct mail is probably one of the easiest ways to be seen. Now, it is going to cost money, so there's that. So I do have some ideas for you to make it a little bit more cost effective. But direct mail, especially with everything that's going on with the post office now, and I don't know if you've noticed it, but the amount of mail that I get is probably 70% less this year since COVID happened than ever. So not only are you probably going to be the only photographer in your area doing any kind of direct mail marketing, but you are now going to be put in a stack of a mail pile that's much less than it was. That's much thinner than it was. So here are some of the direct mail things that I have done personally. Number 1, do I have a card here? I do. Hold on. Okay, so this right here is a 5x5 double-sided. This one is actually folded, but this is what I'm talking about as far as picture on your screen. It's small. I get these at Miller's Lab. You can also get these at Adorama Printique, or I'm sure APA has some kind of deal for you somewhere with that. But I make these cards double-sided, and on one side, it has the vendor who I'm trying to connect with, in this case, Spring Lake Golf Club, and it has their information, their contact information, and on the other side, it has mine. And on both sides, it has pictures that feature that vendor. I do this with florists. I just put, look at all the weddings that we shot together, and I have all photos of the floral work from the florist, their information on one side and mine on the other. And then I just send this to them, one stamp, and I say, hey, I put together a little gift for you. I thought it would help you book a little bit more business. Please feel free to let me know if you need more. And I just send them 25. It does not cost that much money, and you can direct ship from your lab even if you want to. I tend to have it come to me so I can get, write a handwritten note in it. But this is not collecting a million, addresses, right, and shipping out a ton of direct mail. This is strategic. You're essentially giving business cards to the people that you want to work with more. You could do this with modeling cards. You could do this a lot of different ways. So that's one of them. Another thing that I do is I do magazines, which I have one right behind me. This is a magazine. I actually got this one printed at Floricolor, Flori, color, COLOR.com. They're a lab in Portugal. They do beautiful work. You can get magazines like this at Miller's, or most other printing places will do these. But this is, again, very strategic. I am not mailing this to every single one of my couples. I'm also not mailing this to even the couples that book me. I am mailing this to wedding planners and venues and floral designers because it's about 50 pages. I'll actually scroll through so you can see a little bit of what I got going in there. So this is one of the pages, popular products. I just listed. I don't have it all in there. I have some pages that are just pictures like this. And then I have pages that are testimonials, not just of clients, but of colleagues as well. So I have both of those covered in there. And then I do have an intro page. Do I have that here? I don't have it in here. Well, it's right here. But you guys can actually download this entire PDF if you want to. You just go to that bit.ly link, bit.ly/Joy Magazine. But I do have, an About Me page in here as well. And then, of course, there's contact information on the back. Now, I don't blind send this to anyone. I send this to venues and, other people in my circle that I do already have a relationship with. I only printed 100 of them. I think I've only given away, how many do I have left? I probably have given away 60 at this point, or 70, and it's already led to booked jobs. So again, direct mail. And who's not going to open this when it comes in the envelope, right? People will throw away the postcards sometimes, but when you start sending them either a stack of postcards or something bigger like this, of course they're going to at least open it. So you want to be really strategic about your direct mail. You could by all means, buy a list, or maybe you have a list of existing clients and just mail them things. I think that's effective as well. But I know that thought was already in your head, so I wanted to give you some other ideas, some other thoughts. So you can download that just so you can see the layout of what I made. It's the exact layout. I think there might be some typos in that one still, and hopefully they're not in this one, the printed one. And I created this in Fundy. It's called Fundy, Fundy Album Builder, or is it just Fundy Builder? Anyway, but if you just go to fundy.com or Google Fundy albums, it'll pop up. It's a software, and it had basically this layout already in it. It was really easy to just make a magazine like this. So direct mail. Number 3, create content. And I think that's a bad word at this point. Content creator, content creation. You just kind of want to just not hear it anymore. Someone introduces himself as a content creator / influencer. You're just like, another one, great. But the truth is, you as a photographer have such a crazy advantage over so many other companies or influencers or whatever, because you know how to create content that most people have to pay for. So I know you're thinking in your head, well, I got to make all these videos for myself, and I got to do my own blog, and I got to do my own PR. Yes, and yes. We'll talk a little bit about that. However, I want you to think outside the box. Are there colleagues that you could write a blog post for? Are there colleagues and people that you can network with very easily by making them a quick video that they would post? And I've done this before, where I would make my clients slideshows and videos and things like that and give it to them. But I even have on my own blog some florists or vendor of some kind that have come to me and said, hey, can I post on your blog? Basically, can I do some work for you, but capture your audience, put some links of mine in your blog and social media and whatever. So think outside the box. Think of maybe places that you photographed on repeat, and you have sort of a collection of photos from that area. Can you, let's just say it's New York, right? Maybe you photographed in the Flatiron District a lot. Could you find someone on Instagram that has a Flatiron Instagram account or something like that, or a New York Instagram account, where you could offer to write them a blog post, assuming they have a blog attached to it, or give them pictures or something like that, right? So think about that. Think about where you can find PR relation opportunities and capitalize on them. Of course, in addition to doing your own type of stuff, your own content marketing. So this is an example of content marketing where you're not going to blatantly sell your work, right? But you're going to give your expert advice. So on the right-hand side, you'll see a blog post where I have, wedding photography styles, the difference between traditional and photojournalistic. Now, this is a blog on my blog, but I could have easily gone to some other wedding industry blogs and said, hey, I wrote this for you. Do you want it? Has my photos, has my pictures, helps my SEO, and helps my relationship. Now, you don't have to do just blog posts. Maybe you're not a writer. That's okay. Not all of us are. You could do something like what you see on the left-hand side. And this is a video. I'm not sure if it's actually playing for you, because when I play it, it doesn't show. So hopefully it's showing on your end. If not, don't worry. I have links for you in a little bit where you can actually go see all of these videos. But you can create videos with your photos, basically a photo slideshow, and then you just input a little bit of text in there. So what's the difference between photojournalistic and traditional? Number 1, traditional sometimes takes a little bit more time to pose. Number 2, photojournalistic usually happens when people aren't aware a photo is being taken of them. That's all you have to write, and just pop it into the slideshow a little bit. Let me know if you can see these. I don't know that you can. I'm gonna guess maybe not. I'm gonna go to the chat so I can see you guys. Tell me if you can see these or not. There should be a video playing, so please let me know if you can see. Yeah, nope. I didn't think so. You know, when I shared my screen, I did not optimize it for video. So hang on, I'm gonna unshare my screen if that's okay with you, and then go back and share my screen, optimize for video clips. And then let me see if this works. You guys can tell me if it doesn't. Don't worry, I do have. There we are. Do you want me to go back to the other one? I'll go back to the other one real quick so you can see it. There is audio on it. I apologize if it's super loud for you. That part is hard to control, but let me show you just this content marketing piece. All right, so that's it. Super fast. That was 35 seconds long, right? That's actually fairly old. That's probably about 3 to 5 years old, that slideshow. But it's just content marketing. So giving them some kind of advice, you know, that you're an expert in, that you can help them out with. And the cool thing about this, and I've definitely found this, you can see it on my Instagram. A lot of times, if you look for the carousel icon on my Instagram feed, when you swipe, there's a video. It is such a huge algorithm boost to have a video like this, because sometimes people don't watch it, one, or two, they watch it and it went by too fast, so then they rewatch it. And then they like the advice, so then they hit save. So that rewatch and hitting save helps boost your algorithm a ton. And then they'll look at, you know, your content later. So having that is huge. And that wasn't much. It was just a bunch of photos and a little bit of text. Really easy to make. That one was with Animoto. This one is a generic promo video. Again, not that difficult to make. So that one's even older. Notice the older logo on there, but that's a generic promo. It's a little bit longer. So yes, you can put that on social media. Most people won't watch it or save it. That's kind of nice to put in a newsletter, on your website, a place where people who are already interested in you are going to want to learn more. And that's an easy way to do it. I will actually send that out in an email to people that inquire. Just, hey, we're going to get back to you about your wedding date, but in the meantime, check out this little video to see why so many couples love working with us or Vanessa. All right, so that's just generic, and these are easy to make. I personally use Animoto because it's just easy templates and things like that, but you can use, there's a lot of slideshow programs out there. And now this is one I could have put in the communication, the clean your mouth section, but this is one that tells my clients, hold on, this is one that tells my clients what to expect after we're done shooting. I'm just going to take off the computer sound on here because you don't really need the music. It's just music. So if you are a photographer that has ever had clients text you, message you immediately after you shot with them, wondering where their pictures are, this is a great thing to email them, because I'm sure you've communicated with them that pictures are done in 2 to 3 weeks and I'll talk to you then, but either they don't read your emails or they don't listen to you when you speak, or all the above. I have found by sending a video link in the email where I've explained what to expect next, that now I don't have any more questions, because I've outlined the entire process to them again in video form, very fast for them to take a look at. So great for client communication. Again, I do a lot of these videos. Tons of videos. You can do them vertically, you can do them horizontally, you can really do, you know, whatever you want. And just as long as it applies and is useful information to either your existing clients or people that are clients that you want, that's what your goal is. It doesn't have to have anything to do with photography. This has to do with skincare. You could do something about how to decorate your home if, you know, your particular client is probably in the age range of someone wanting to decorate their home. Really, really doesn't matter as long as it applies to them. So there's that link if you want to go take a look, animoto.com/Vanessa-Joy. I have a bunch of these videos there, a few more, and a quick tutorial. There is a discount code on there. I don't get anything from it, but they just graciously give me a discount code to pass along. So content creation, and then of course, think of all the different people you could give this video to. You know, you make a typical video on skincare, I can pass that around and let every vendor I know use the same video. Everybody needs more content for their social media and everything they're doing. Why not be the one that provides it to them while you're in the meantime making it for yourself anyway? Repurposing is always a good idea. All right, so posting all the content that you create, you can put it on social media, put it on blogs, you can put it on YouTube. You know, it's kind of funny to me, so many people don't use YouTube. I recently started my YouTube account for educational purposes, but YouTube is the second highest search engine in the world. So why not utilize it? Put some of your stuff on there, even if they're just video slideshows, and you write the descriptions, and who knows, you could be found. I actually recently booked a client who found me through YouTube. So there's that. Use that. And you can schedule it out. You don't have to do it all right away, but potentially with some of the free time that we have, where we would have been out shooting, you could schedule months or maybe even a year's worth of content. And I will say, maybe don't schedule it every single day, schedule it every other day or every week or something like that, so you leave room for a little bit of fluidity and spontaneity. Later.com is what I use for scheduling. There's a free version. There's a lot other ones like this. Buffer, Hootsuite, EveryPost, a lot of places you can go and schedule things out. And I just want to remind you that when it comes to all of this content creation, social media, it's not about the follower count, especially if you're using TikTok. It really is not at all. This is a girl that I met at a marketing event in New York City, and she was talking about her Instagram and how she gets a ton of, you know, inquiries from there. And I actually asked her, she said 75% of the inquiries through my website contact form indicated that they found me through Instagram. She has 442 followers, but she's just using it consistently, using it right, validating her brand because it looks beautiful. So it's not about follower count. It's really about the content that you are putting on there. Okay, number 3, down to number 3, work in, not on your business. So many people spend a ton of time just working in their business, you know, being drowned by it and just putting out fires all day and going through the day-to-day. But if you do not have, or you have not worked on your business as a whole, and you don't have a really good marketing workflow system in place, all of the marketing efforts that you have are bringing in people to your business and setting them up to be disappointed and leaving you bad reviews. Instead, you have to build the foundation of your business before you dare to invite people in. It's kind of like having a house. You want to have a housewarming party, but you usually don't have the housewarming party while all of your boxes are still packed. You unpack your boxes, you set up your house, you make it nice, and then you invite people in. So when they leave, they go, wow, this is amazing. Everything looks beautiful. As opposed to if they came in when the boxes are still there, well, she's got a lot of work to do, right? It's the same thing when it comes to your photography. This is now a great time for you to work on your business as a whole. Look at it from the perspective of the clients walking into your business. Are you inviting them in just to be disappointed? Do you consistently, overpromise and underdeliver? Is it annoying for them to do anything, whether it's downloading photos or contacting you or finding your prices? Are there any pain points, any blocks and hurdles that you could eliminate? Because people are like water. They just go through the path of least resistance. So you want to make sure that while they're working with you, there's nothing for them to have to jump over and work themselves around. So don't do marketing until you've built that foundation on your house and unpacked all of your boxes and made sure that everything is nice and flows. Okay, number 2, help someone. So this should be a no-brainer, but why not wait to start the good? A lot of bad stuff has happened in this year, but if you're New Yorkers, you know that when it comes to bad times, we're pretty good immediately afterwards joining together. So why wait till after the bad is over to start joining together? Find a way that you can help others around you. Organizations like APA, incredible way to do that. Connect with other people, find who's struggling, needs some help. Maybe you know some Lightroom tricks that could really help someone out and speed up their workflow. Maybe you have some really great connections that you could make for somebody just starting out. Whatever it is, there are definitely things that you can do to help other people. And when we shift our focus from ourselves to other people, that does amazing things for your mental health. Personally, what I did is I shared a free social media class. It's still up there. I'm not really advertising it anymore, but I'm giving it away still, technically. So if you go to youtube.com/Vanessa Joy and then find that thumbnail right now, you of course could just search important update from Vanessa Joy and I'm sure it would come up. That contains the information to get the free social media class that will help you figure out this whole social media thing. Lots of tips and tricks and stuff. So I am still giving that away, so you are welcome to go ahead and grab that there on my YouTube channel. Number 1, get your learn on, which is what all of you are doing right now. I always like to say this quote, if you don't make mistakes, you are not working on hard enough problems. And that is a big mistake. I think a lot of us get bogged down by photography, or maybe we just get into a comfort zone. I know I personally have been in many photography comfort zones where it's, I'm making money doing the photography that I know, and I just didn't push myself any further. This photo right here is actually a really good example of a time where I wasn't really pushing myself too much, but I decided to try a little something new. This is just a long exposure mixing flash and ambient light. It's one exposure. It's not a composite or anything like that. It's actually practically straight out of camera. And I decided to do something new. It's amazing how when you spend time learning and pushing yourself, you feel revitalized and you come up with all your own marketing ideas and can help spread those around. So if you want, and you're more of a book reader, I actually have an entire recommended reading list on my breatheyourpassion.com website, which is my website for photographers. You can also get there by going to vanessajoy.com and the Pro EDU tab. But I have a whole recommended reading list if you want to really get your learn on and not through online courses and videos. Of course, there's other free downloads there that you can see on the rest of the page. So I originally wrote this title and I said that there were going to be 7 ways to market your business. And then I ended up writing more. So this is going to be number 0 here. And it's all about putting you first. In times like these, it can be very easy to not put ourselves first. But when you better you, your business will thrive. So find ways where you can do a thing or two for yourself, a thing or two that's just going to give you a little bit of peace and make you a little bit happy. So here are some suggestions. You can do some reading, exercise, look at family time, maybe do some personal projects, meditation, praying, whatever works for you. Sometimes people like to tell photographers to pick up the camera and start doing some photography for yourself, non-paying work. And that can be very revitalizing. So find time for yourself and however it works for you. I know for me personally, I've been really heavy on the exercising lately. That's been my outlet, my home gym, of course, and working on family time. So find things that you can do that's going to better you internally, and then that's only going to externally better everything else around you and the people around you too, if you are stuck home with others. And of course, I might as well give you one other one. 00. This is the last one, I promise, the last thing that I have for you. So if you have any questions, now's the time to throw them into the chat. I imagine most of you are just sitting there writing ferociously and thinking of all the different ideas of things that you can implement. So this is one that will likely make you money right away. And I always say, you might as well offer. And I tried this earlier. I ran a home project promotion. So what was that? Basically, I emailed my entire client base with a link to where all of their galleries were, the generic link, not individually, and just said, hey, a lot of us are stuck at home right now, so we're running a DIY project promotion where you can get half off any of your photos in the online gallery. Now, don't think of it just as photos. There's wall art, there's puzzles, there's blah, blah, blah. There's really everything in there, and we're running a promotion right now. People are stuck at home. You might as well offer. A lot of people are doing those home renovations, home projects. So maybe your photography can be a part of that. It definitely worked out well for me. These are my kids, by the way. I tried really hard. Again, I'm a wedding photographer primarily, so I tried really hard to put not just wedding photos in here. So this is a photo actually taken when I did the Canon R6 campaign. And of course I used my kids. And as you can tell, Judah was extremely happy about it. This was really early on in the year. I forget if this was, it might have been February or March, but we went to the beach and of course they were freezing, as was I. But you might as well offer. Now, I will say this, please don't name your coupon code like COVID-19 or something like that, and you get 19% off. Try not to do that because it kind of looks like you're capitalizing on a catastrophe. But we do need to feed our families. We do need to pay our rent. So if you can find a way to run a promotion that does bring value to your clients, you might as well offer, right? Why not? All right, let's see what I got here. This was actually taken around the same time, early March in New York City. I do have a whole vlog that I did on my YouTube channel, but I always like to leave with a little bit of hope. So we are in this together, and it's so great that organizations like this, come together and really have places for you to go to find other like-minded people in your profession, other people who are going through the same things that you are. We all are. We're all going through the same thing. Photographers really got hit hard, but I've been so encouraged by how everyone has pivoted. Like I said, my main pivot has been online education and photographing maternity and newborn sessions, lifestyle newborn sessions afterwards. But find out what everyone else is doing. Chat with the people that are here and talk about that. I'm looking at the questions now. I see you already answered. Just in case anyone was curious about this, what software are you using for your slideshows? Are you using original music? So I am using animoto.com, and that site, when you sign up for whichever, they do monthly subscription or yearly, it comes with royalty-free or already paid for royalty music. So all the music that you hear, it's not mainstream. I'm not usually even concerned about the music there because it's not heard all the time. How often are you scrolling through your Instagram feed with the sound on? Actually, usually when the sound is on, I get annoyed and I turn turn it off. So the music is just kind of there in case someone has the sound on. But it's all, I'm able to use it. I'm able to put it on YouTube. It won't get taken down. I also use Song Freedom and Soundstripe for music sometimes. So sometimes I will license music through them, but it's always licensed and I'm always, have permission to use it. I don't want to take anyone else's art and use it for myself. So question by Jim, I noticed this is being recording. Will we be able to view it again later? I do believe, and the guys will pop on and I'm sure answer that question for us.
Yes, it's true. It's going to be on our
Wonderful.
YouTube. I will put it in the link but we have a YouTube channel for APA, and all our content and future content will go there. So we'll definitely share it there. And please, people, if you have questions, throw them in there now. We have Vanessa here for a little bit. And what I want to say is so great about this is some people may have come into this and been like, wow, I'm not a wedding photographer. What can I get out of this? But actually, if you look at it, each one of these things, whether you're a commercial photographer, whether you're, an editorial photographer, if you're an event photographer, all these, you can adapt these to really kind of benefit and work for you in different ways, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And that's the idea. One of the reasons I love marketing so much is because I feel it's like math. It's the same in every language. It does not matter whether you are trying to market this coffee mug to me or you are trying to market your photography. It's the same thing. It's just marketing. So you can absolutely take any of these ideas. Again, you see a lot of wedding stuff here because that's what I'm promoting, but it doesn't matter. It works across the board.
So someone who's going to wake up tomorrow, what would be the first two things? Like tomorrow, you're going to start a brand new day. Kick off your day starting this way. How do you start your day? And how would you suggest someone start their day?
I start my day with my children screaming for me to get out of bed and be fed. That's how I start my day.
Let's talk about the business day. How do you start your business day?
No, my business day is usually started by planning what I want to do for the day. I tend to put my tasks in my calendar so that I balance that working in and working on your business thing. So I always have the big picture in my head, but that doesn't mean I need to answer some emails and put out fires and things like that. But that's how I like to look at it. I look at everything as a very whole picture. So what do I want to work on right now? For example, when I decided to do these magazines, it was a time where I was seeing a little bit of a slowdown of wedding bookings, ironically for 2020, but which they all moved anyway. So I was like, okay, so I need to work on marketing. I know I'm doing a good job at social media, and you just kind of run through and evaluate everything. I'm doing a good job at social media. Where am I not doing a good job at? You know what? I've been busy as all heck. I've been trying to focus on this education thing as well. I've lost touch with a lot of my relationships in the wedding world. Let's work on that. So I worked on that by sending them stuff like this. I DM'd a bunch of people, emailed a bunch of people, wrote notes, sent those gifts. And at the end of every one of my handwritten notes, whether I sent them something or I emailed them something, I said, hey, when can we get together for coffee? I would love to catch up.
Yeah. So you showed us, 7 great steps with 2 bonus ones, the 0 and 00. What are some, things that happened in your past that you really learned lessons from to do, like really not to do, or you made mistakes or really kind of like, wow, I'm never going to do that again. Some pitfalls to avoid, should I say.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I've made every mistake in the entire book. A lot of my processes when it comes to workflow were results of mistakes. So when I had the tip about cleaning your mouth and making sure that your client communication was in place, that came from getting too many emails with way too many questions from all of my clients. They would always ask me, when are my pictures due? They would ask me, when should I expect to talk to you about a timeline for the day or what family photos I want? So now I figured out, when do I typically get these emails? And now I address those questions a month before they typically would ask them. So that kind of comes from a failure.
Time is such a valuable thing. And you seems like you've made time to, really say, take care of yourself and exercise and stuff like that. Do you turn off and say, like, after a certain time, I'm not going to answer emails? Or do you try and train your clients to only contact you a certain place and, you won't answer at this? How do you manage your time with kids, and how do you manage the business and really kind of devote yourself to it?
Right. So I would love to tell you that I turn off my phone after a certain time. That would just be a wild lie. I commend people that do that. So for me, it's always been a matter of putting a workflow in place where things are automated as possible. So I use a client management system called 17 Hats, and it has workflows that you basically activate, and then it sends automated emails, reminds you of things. It takes a lot off of your plate. Number two, I outsource things. I send all of my editing to freedomedits.com because they do a better job than I do. And on top of it, it gets done faster, and my clients definitely don't notice the difference between whether I edited something or whether they did. So huge, huge, huge. And I'm always doing that. I'm always looking for things that are, this is taking me too long. This is, a stumbling block. My clients are waiting for something because I'm not doing XYZ. Let me find someone else to do XYZ. I do have an office manager. I have someone else that actually designs these cards that I mentioned. I did design the magazine myself. Someone else that designs the albums that my clients get. So I almost evaluate what I should be doing with my business based on where I'm failing. So I always do that. Look at that overview and what's going on. Where are my clients stopping? Where's the stream not flowing, and how can I solve that?
So I know you talked about it before, that you've made some pivots because of COVID-19, and how do you wake up every day and sort of are you constantly reevaluating the situation? Like, it's like, wow, I'm not shooting weddings right now. I'm not doing this. Like, how often are you freaking out, and how often are you kind of just like staying busy and staying true? It's like, what is your process now?
I'm always freaking out just by nature, but I had to stop worrying about it, to be honest, because so with weddings, in the beginning, there was, a lot of people trying to hold on to the dates. Some people, I had a November wedding reschedule when it was only May. So I had it all over. So I was trying to control as much as I could, or not control, but like make it easy, make it flow. And then the vendors of halls, mostly the halls, did a thing where and rightfully so, I'm not throwing them under the bus. I think it was a good idea because they just couldn't handle all these reschedules. And, it's not fair for this bride that's not getting married for 8 months to be able to claim their date right away, whatever day they wanted, when this bride that's getting married in 2 weeks all of a sudden can't have her wedding. She should have first say. So they did this thing where they were only rescheduling or postponing or whatever dates 30 days before the date. They wouldn't even talk, and that's very common right now. They won't even talk about rescheduling until 30 days before. And then you have the other thing where, at least in New Jersey, they were going to open indoor dining, which meant weddings indoors could happen. And then they pulled it back, and then maybe it'll go forward. So there's like that flux. So long story short, I simply stopped worrying about it. And as much as I could, just came in, and every day it's like, all right, here's what's happening in the world today. Here's what I can work on. Here's a way I know brings income. And here are some people that I can reach out to. So it's reinventing myself every single day.
So obviously, wedding work and stuff like that, you're booking yourself so far in advance, and all these retainers and all this money is like, have you had, like, what other conversations are you having with clients? Or like, are some people saying, I need money back, I'm canceling the wedding? Or it's like, what is this whole world with you, and financially, how are you dealing with that? And is it really affecting you?
It is 100% affecting me. I have taken every client individually. I started to try to do something, because it's my style, to have like a blanket approach and workflow and things like that. But I just realized, everyone's different, has different styles. For example, the wedding my first wedding this year that I did last weekend, they also, who were paying for the wedding, the couple's parents, they had to change a bunch of things, but on top of it, they're small business owners. So they lost all of their business income. And the last thing I was going to do was be like, no, you have to stick to the contract and all the things that you bought. I'm like, no, here's what you've already, I've given you the engagement session. You obviously want the hours. Let me tear down this package, give you some options. And I did that. And some people are just rescheduling, but then on their original date, still doing like a mini ceremony. So that's actually giving me a little bit more income than I thought I would have. So I've just been taking it,
Were you proactively reaching out to people, or were you waiting for them to kind of contact you? Or was like, how are you dealing with that?
Luckily, because that whole 30-day thing, they typically have contacted me. We do keep up. My office manager will keep up, be like, hey, just wanted to check in on your wedding. Are you doing a micro wedding? Are you thinking of postponing? But ultimately, until they do it, there's nothing, that can be done anyway. And thankfully, with all of this, we are Dave Ramsey people. So we have that emergency fund. And luckily, with all the pivoting and the emergency fund, we haven't had to dip into savings at all. So that preparedness is huge. So if you are not a Dave Ramsey person, go look him up. He saved my butt through this.
Oh. How have you adapted to the circumstances of COVID, and what is that like? You know, the mask is like it's such a strange world. Like I've been going on shoots now, and it's like wearing that mask is suddenly you're like, you know, you're so used to like, you know, getting reactions from people just by your own facial thing and smiling at them, and suddenly you realize, oh, they can't see I'm smiling. They can't see this. Like, how are you kind of adapting, and what precautions are you taking now and adapting your business to kind of deal with COVID and the safe set and working now?
Right. So thankfully, most of what I do is outside. I do some headshots in studio, and I just wear a mask. I tend to shoot with longer lenses, so I'm never really that close to my clients anyway. So if we are outside, I tend to not wear a mask as long as they're okay with it. I do ask. The rule here in New Jersey is as long as you can maintain that 6 feet, you don't have to wear one. So I tend not to. If I'm indoors, I do wear one, but obviously not like in my home. So there's that. But when it comes to weddings, that we mask when we're inside, and I kept my mask on a lot of times when I was outside at this past wedding. But if I was, you know, off the dance floor that I'm sure they were not actually supposed to have and far enough away, then I'd take my mask off because I'm nowhere near them and I'm just like picking them off with my 135.
And I mean, it's just sure weddings are crazy because you have so many, you know, the different relationships of, you know, the distant cousin or this that's not going to wear a mask or get intoxicated. How are you dealing with people that aren't being respectful of COVID and masking? And because you have kids, you have, you know, family, you have all this that you come home from a job, and it's a real concern. How are you dealing with that?
Let's just say no one wears masks.
Wow.
No.
Deb,
so
I see you're back
again,
in. Do you want to throw in a question, or did you have something?
Yeah, I want to say that Vanessa, you're so smart about the way you do your marketing, and I think it's an extension of your personality. There's an expression in marketing that making a customer is more important than making a sale, and you epitomize that. And just listening to the way you were talking about, you know, because I'm sure there's some people who are like trying to enforce contracts. Well, you already paid me, and blah blah blah. But I mean, you're handling it in such a smart way.
Yeah, I don't want to, I want to be the easiest vendor they have to deal with. That is my goal. I want to be the easiest one.
Yeah, I mean, it's such an important thing, and I think that's the main part is if you come from a place of empathy and honesty, you know, people are going to remember that. You know, if I guarantee you, if you call them like, no, I'm not going to refund any money, and you can't do this, they're going to let everybody know that you're that type of person. But if you said, no, she was fabulous, and I could deal with her, and she reached out to us and gave us all these options.
A human being.
Yeah. It's a wonderful thing. So how are you going to spend the rest of your, World Photography Day?
Actually, I have to go do a shoot. So
that's the best way to do it. That's the best.
I am running right out of here, into the city.
Well, if there are no more questions from guys, I want to thank you so much for joining us. Where can people come find and really kind of, if they want to follow up or look for you and really kind of get information from you? I know you have a couple different things and avenues that where people, from Instagram to YouTube to Adorama. Where can people find your stuff?
Right here, this is the best way to find me. So Instagram at Vanessa Joy. I post a lot there with settings and things like that. And then YouTube. YouTube is my newest thing. I've been doing that since December. And we're almost 25,000 strong. So I would love more people there. And I usually release a video twice a week.
What was from starting YouTube, did you kind of go in like, I'll learn it, or did you kind of watch every video you could and learned everything? So when their first video came out polished, like, were you like, I'm gonna throw myself in the fire, or I'm gonna do all the research and talk to everybody before I even put my first video? Did you like bank some stuff and like, oh, I shot 10 videos, so now it's not like I have to shoot one a week? It's like, how are you approaching? Because YouTube's, I think, one of the best ways you can reach people and really market for free and build your brand and your face and awareness to people, and people don't take advantage of it, but because it's difficult.
It is, yes. So I have been doing educational videos for I think 5 years now for Adorama. So I know how to make a video, and I am married to a videographer. So in-house production team right here.
Very smart, smart.
Yeah, and I did get help. If you know Frono's Photo, Jared Pullen, he very graciously sat me down and taught me the ins and outs and things I should be doing, and still corrects me here and there.
Fabulous. So. Well, thank you so much for joining us. I want to wish you the very best, and we look forward to catching up with you and doing a follow-up at some point.
Yes, thank you for having me.
Absolute pleasure.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Bye.
So first, let me welcome Michael. Michael, Thank you for being here. We first met in Cuba, which are on the airport, heading to Cuba, and then became friends in Cuba and had wonderful times photographing bakeries and sneaking in at late hours of the night and photographing, and our love of photography. Why don't you tell us a little bit about your background and where you come from?
Yeah, well, first of all, I want to thank both you and Deborah for having me and for supporting SALT. Deborah's been a long time champion of the organization, and that's been fantastic. And and we're going to talk about mentoring and giving back today, and it's very apropos that you're hosting this because you mentored me. After I spent that time in Cuba with you, my game was elevated beyond what I had ever shot before. So it's pretty funny that it's come full circle like this.
I think it's.
But I'm a mentor at NYCSalt, which is a nonprofit based here in New York City. I'm also the chairman of the board, so I get to work with both the students and and run the organization itself. At 5:30, you will meet the true leader and champion and evangelist for SALT, and that is Alicia Hansen. It was her brainchild, and to this day, she continues to be the heart and soul of SALT. These days, I concentrate mostly on the alumni. I don't actually mentor any of the high school undergraduate students anymore, and I focus my attention on them. We have a once weekly meeting with them, and it's really about the kids that have graduated or that are out there in the workforce and continuing their education and continuing to guide them in those real world situations.
How did you originally get involved with the SALT?
So it was very interesting. Trisha Scott, who was a photo rep at the time, she had come to show us one of her photographer's work, Dustin Cohen, who we did get to work with, and great guy, very talented. And she saw that we had an in-house studio. So she said to me, hey, I'm mentoring at this organization called SALT, and they want to make a video. And the rest is history. The kids came in, we created the videos. I was totally, I drank the Kool-Aid 1,000%. I just saw an opportunity, like I had mentioned with having yourself in Cuba, there's a lot of mentors that I had in Cuba, yourself, Jaime, Permuth, Alex Garcia, but throughout my whole career, whether I was working in a kitchen or in a florist or doing photography or working in a lab, I've always had mentors that really made a difference in my life. And that was where I saw the opportunity to give back to these kids in New York City.
Yeah. You know what? I'm going to go into some videos that we kind of pulled from you guys and put here. And then we're going to ask you a bunch of questions afterwards and going to go into them. So let's go into that first, and we'll visit you on the flip side of that, okay?
Hi, my name is Alicia Hansen, and I'm the founder of a photography program in New York City for inner city kids called NYCSalt. The uniqueness of our program is that it's taught exclusively by creative professionals working in New York City. It's a value of ours that our students have an opportunity to learn from professionals at the height of their talent and creative ability.
Hi, I'm Adam Chinitz, and I'm one of the teachers who's lucky enough to teach here at SALT. I bring to the program a broad background in photography, especially on the technical side. I get to show the kids the cameras, the lights, the computers, and get them interested in using all this stuff to create and realize visions that they have on their own. And watching that process is an amazing experience.
Another unique part of SALT is that we're not just teaching these kids an art, but we're teaching them our trade. For example, we're teaching them how to build out an estimate, how to copyright their work, how to work with clients, how to plan out a photo shoot, so that these kids come away knowing that they can make a living as an artist.
So one night, Adam and Alicia decided to teach a headshot class. I found it pretty interesting that I could make money with my camera. So I went out, started talking to people, and my girlfriend's mother, who's a principal at a daycare, brought me in. I shot some headshots, created a pricing list, and sold prints to the parents. I made about $900, and now I'm rehired again this year.
Growing up, I really wanted to become a zookeeper. I always took artistic classes and I loved drawing animals, and I guess that was a lot more acceptable than becoming an artist in my community because you work to get money. You know, you get rough and dirty and you get paid for it. But I guess through NYCSalt, I got to learn that that isn't the case after all, that you can be passionate about something and love something and actually get paid for it. Art is something that everyone appreciates.
The day that Adam taught the class about lights was the first time that I actually saw myself wanting to shoot in a studio with a set that I created. Something about the class that Adam was teaching that day just really made me want to sit down and brainstorm ideas and set my own studio and put on my own lightings and have an assistant and just make sure that every aspect of my shot was me.
A couple times a year, we hold gallery shows to celebrate what the kids are doing and to invite the community in to celebrate with us.
Back when I started the program, I was super shy. I had always taken art classes but didn't think my art was any good. And I guess a cool thing about the class is that we have gallery shows. And the first one was, I guess, significant to me because it was Alicia's show and she had put up some of our work. I guess I had 6 up and that was a big deal to me because, you know, my work I didn't think was any good. I sold the first 2 shots and I think those were the only 2 shots that sold. And I guess that just, I don't know, built up my confidence a lot within my work and slowly within myself.
And all of a sudden I had like 15 people surrounded around me looking at my work and I felt amazing. I was like sweating that day. That's how good I felt. And yeah, there were so many people around me. I've never had that type of attention in my life.
When I found out that this woman bought my picture, I was like ecstatic. She wanted me to sign it. I was only 16 at the time. Somebody buying and wanting me to sign something for them was like mind-boggling to me. It was just an amazing experience.
Some of our students have been with us since the very beginning, and as you can see by their stories, the program has helped them with more than just their photography skills.
I felt like I was actually doing something with my life, something positive, something that I was proud of.
I learned how to write resumes, how to perfect essays, how to brainstorm, how to sit down and concentrate. Everything that I'm gonna need in life, I learned here first.
The heart of NYCSalt is to inspire these kids, teaching them that they are creative individuals. We believe that every kid is made for greatness. Our students have responded to our belief in them. This year, we have 8 seniors graduating from high school and going on to college. That's a 100% success rate for us. All of these kids will be the first generation in their family to go to college.
Before NYCSalt, I didn't think I was going to go to college. I didn't think it was worth it to go and pay thousands of dollars and stay in debt for something that I could have done without going to school. But through NYCSalt and through my internship, I got to find out that, you know, college isn't only academic, that college actually teaches you about life and maturity, and you become a better person through it. And more of the person that you are and want to be. And I'll be the first to be going to college this upcoming fall, and I'm going to Savannah College of Art and Design coming September.
In 2008, Alicia Hansen set forth to use photography to inspire students towards college and careers in the creative industry. We work to see our students learn to think of work as career and find vocations that they love. The mission of NYCSalt is to engage our students to professionally learn.
You're doing a great job with the VO, but you folks already know about this, right? You don't want to hear about this. You want to meet the NYCSalt alumni. So here they are.
Hey Alicia, so this thank you is about a decade overdue. I just wanted to say thank you so much for putting so much care and so much emphasis on taking care of the students, especially myself. If it weren't for you, I wouldn't have accomplished a lot of the things that I have. And even out of school, you've continued to support us, and I'm really grateful for that, so thank you.
I guess I would say I'm just thankful, not only for me, but just, you know, your willingness to just deal with, you know, all of our individual challenges and kind of working with us throughout the program to see something else within us, you know, not just looking at the surface level frustration or situation that might have come up, but really giving us a chance.
Hey Alicia, why are you being so tough on us? Thanks for the tough love.
Hey Alicia, I'd like to say thank you for not only creating a program for inner city kids like me, but for creating a family.
But I want to thank you for all the amazing experiences, all the hard work that you've put in that has translated into all of us SALT students having a wider opportunity at chasing the dreams that we have.
Alicia, basically my white mother. Everyone's gonna say thank you, but thank you. Especially recently, I've gone through a lot of emotional shit and you've been there for me, so thanks.
Hey Alicia, I want to thank you for letting me be in SALT for 1 year and helping me and guiding me in the right path towards my career.
Hey Alicia, I just want you and Adam to know that you guys are like the parents that I feel like I never had growing up, and I'm really grateful for all the opportunities you guys have given me, and I honestly don't see where my life will be without you two, and I'm really grateful. Please keep doing what you guys are doing. Love you guys.
Hey Alicia, for your birthday gift, we had to sign a print. And at the time, you know, I wrote really tiny, so I don't know if you found it, but what I wrote was, thank you for changing my life, because you did.
We need you. We need you to partner with us so that we can continue our vision. You can support us by giving financially and by donating your time, resources, and talents. The best way for you to get to know us is to come out to one of our gallery shows and to meet our kids and see their work. Immediately, we need to raise $50,000 to continue our programming. To partner with us and to see the kids' portfolios, you can visit our website at nycsalt.org.
So before we get into all the specifics of this stuff like that, I was watching your face while watching this, and you must have seen this a million times. And I can see in it, and knowing you, everyone is like watching it new. Every one of these kids is your own kid. I can see the spark in your eyes, and I know how much you are giving and helping these kids, but I also know they're probably giving you back tenfold. And how has that affected you, and what have you gotten out of it? Because I know every day is affecting you, and they're probably giving you a lot more than you're giving them.
Yeah, you know, and that's the interesting thing, and I've tried to explain that to many of them, and especially like some of the kids that I spent the most time with, you know, like Mamadi, for instance. And I don't think they'll realize that until they're a little older, but how much I learned from them and how much I grow and how much they expose me to. And what it really teaches me more than anything else is to put myself in somebody else's shoes. I have to put myself in their shoes. We're talking about cultural barriers, just different worlds. They come from a different universe, and it forces me to put myself in their shoes. But you're right. When I was watching this video, it was like watching old family movies. It was ridiculous. The first video, it's like they're baby films, you know? I mean, think about it.
I just want to like reach to the screen and hug Devin, him with his little bow tie, talking about, oh my God.
Now,
and
Devin
that's a while ago now. Have you followed up, and where has he turned? Like, where is he now?
Yeah, let me go through some of that. It was really overwhelming for me emotionally when I was watching the video. So Devin, like Alicia said in the video, 100% of the kids get accepted to college. I call SALT, it's a thinly veiled life lessons program that we teach through the arts, right? So Devin went to SCAD. He became a textile designer out in LA. Devin has come full circle. He runs the alumni program at SALT. He works for SALT. He's an administrator. I work with him all the time on the programming. We just got an incredible partnership with Nikon, where their ambassadors are mentoring one-on-one our students, and Devin has been working and setting. So he's come full circle to do that. There were folks like Christian Rodriguez in that first video, who has gone on to just do amazing things and shoot for multiple publications. I mean, Mamadi and Malik covers for the New York Times. I mean, Nora has gone on to do, and that's the other thing too, like not everybody that comes through the SALT program, the students, they go into other fields. Nora is a graphic designer who has killed it in all different types of fields. She worked for PDN before they unfortunately went away, you know, like some of the students have gone into other fields, banking. So it's about preparing them for the real life situations that they're going to face, the things that you wish that someone would have helped you avoid those trapdoors.
I got to spend some time with Malik at through some Adobe stuff that I did, and also at Kando. I mean, these are such incredibly talented, and you've prepared them for the world in ways that most people never really kind of get. And at this point, I kind of want to talk about something that, and one of the reasons we have you here today is. APA New York really wanted to figure out how our members can give back. And, one of the things is like we do a lot of things for our, in our lives, but how do we use our resources and our talents to kind of give back and bring awareness to things? And you and I, for a while, have kind of talked, how do we help and give back to the communities that really kind of helped us and give us a living and let us shine our talents. And APA for Good kind of was born, and something that we're now starting with was our community is filled with these talented photographers, and your organization trains the next generation of those people. So APA for Good is going to constantly try and highlight and pick alliances with people that are doing things such as yourself. And obviously NYCSalt is the very first one that we're aligning with and bringing attention to. So in terms of, like, you and I will be talking about different events that we can do and print sales and bring awareness and funding to and how we can help mentor and help you in any way we can, but also how can other people help out to really kind of help you guys.
Mm-hmm. Well, first of all, again, I really appreciate the generosity of APA and everything that you folks are doing to spread the awareness. So it's interesting, right? If this was pre-COVID, I would have had a very different type of thing to say, right? It was very hard for people to participate that weren't in New York City at the time. But so I think the most important thing to realize now, because I saw somebody put in the chat that they wish that they were in New York to help out. It's a different world now. I don't know about you, but my world changes every half hour. So,
yeah,
I mean, so there is the ability to contribute remotely if you would like to. But let me talk about a normal world, right? A normal world. There are many opportunities. The first thing that's the most important for any artist is that it's what they're comfortable giving, what they're comfortable giving with their time, what's realistic. Do you want to be a full-time mentor and have this kid have complete access to you all the time? Do you want to be somebody that meets with them for just a week? In the pre-COVID days, I would have said that a great way that you could have helped any of the students out was to give them practical experience. Whether you were a photographer or a videographer or a director or an animator or somebody on the back end, that's something that I wish that I would have had when I was younger. Practical experience, you get to learn what you like and what you don't like. And in those cases, it was great to be able to, have the kids on set, have them be a PA, have them be an assistant. If you would like, there are plenty of opportunities for one-on-one mentoring. We can pair you up with a student that you would travel through the whole journey with. I think these days, what we're also doing is that if anybody would like to contribute their time and give a lesson, like a lighting lesson or a business lesson, right? That's just as important. If you are a rep or a producer that's an expert in creating estimates and everything that goes around that, people that are involved with talent, right? They need to be as well-rounded as possible. So I think that, I could talk all day about this, but to sum it up, like, just reach out to me. And if you think there's a way you can contribute, whether it's teaching, mentoring, donating your time, you can always send money. That's what nonprofits are about. I'm not going to lie about that. That's the easiest way to support us. But I will take your call or your email at any time to continue that conversation. And I'm sure Alicia will say the same thing later.
Yeah.
On.
And what's so amazing about your program is I look at it and I'm like, I'm sort of jealous. Like, I went to school and it's like, and the stuff that you guys are teaching in terms of business and stuff like that. I wish I went to NYCSalt. I mean, it's like the stuff that the tools that are practical tools. I mean, you're giving how to work and how to really make a business out of this. And the business element is not just photography. There's so much more to it. And I think that gets lost in most education. You guys are hitting it from different angles.
And that's a really important point, right? Because here's one of the ways that you can contribute if you're in the creative industry, if you work at an ad agency, if you work at a production house. So myself, I run B12 Studio within Juice Pharma Advertising, right? I run the production department for that aspect of it. We take the kids in as interns. They get practical experience on shoots. They have full access to use the studio whenever they want, as long as there's not client work. And folks, like, there are so many students that have come through there and shot and used their work to take it to the next level. The other thing that I will offer when there's a vaccine and we go back to normal is that I offer the studio to any photographer that wants to use it to shoot personal work. I can't have any conflict of interest because we are an ad agency. All you got to do is hire a SALT kid or have a SALT kid there to be your assistant that they can learn. Let them tech, let them grip. I don't care, whatever you want. So there's those
I'd like to book
opportunities
the next 3
there
weeks,
as well. Hey, going into my building is like going into Fort Knox these days. So I've only been able to get there once.
How is it? How are you adapting the, with the COVID, the new curriculum and training? Are they coming back in person? How are you adjusting for the new norm, as they say?
Yeah, we actually just made a decision this week that we are going to continue virtually for as long as it takes. So the fall semester will be virtual, which is why I say it allows for more opportunities if someone wants to dial in and give a presentation or something along those lines. The cool thing is that because, anybody that has a teenager or had a senior in high school, they just know what a terrible year it was and how they got shortchanged. So, we have the year-end show for the students with online, trying to do the best we could with the book sale to emulate the show, but we've continued the classes over the summer, right? So they still, look, the biggest thing about SALT, and you'll hear it, there's other videos on those sites, it comes up all the time. It'll say, what is SALT? SALT is family. SALT is safe, but family comes up all the time. So we've tried to encourage that atmosphere over the summer so that they can continue learning. Look, it's really hard to be solid and focused right now. So I think that that's working well. Yeah. So there are classes going on now as well. And that's, Adam and Scott Doty are teaching those.
That's fabulous. And in honor of International World Photography Day, and I'm asking this all, and we put these videos together, I want to ask you, in the most personal sense, what is photography to you?
Photography to me is an expression of, it allows you to express yourself. Whether you're trying to make a statement or you want to provoke people to have a conversation about the art that you create, I think that's the most important thing, being able to express yourself. And maybe the way that you want to express yourself is just to make somebody feel really good because they're looking at a beautiful sunset or a waterfall, or you want to start a conversation and you go and photograph a protest or whatever that may be. But I think that the one thing that I've seen over my years with SALT is that these are kids and students that do not really have a voice. They're on the fringes of our society. They are ignored a lot. There is very, very little support for the arts in their schools. So that's the thing that I've noticed the most. So photography for me is allowing those folks to express themselves. And for me personally, my favorite part about photography and creating stuff is the collaboration. I mean, just all the people all the talented, incredible, creative people that I've met in my life, and being able to work with them and collaborate with them. I find that to be the most fun thing on the planet,
Yeah.
So.
And that's, obviously you and I have found a very, close kinship and friendship from that. And I miss, being able to walk around Cuba with you right now and walking into these wonderful places, wake up in the morning and you were like, I got to go to the markets. I got to get the markets. And when you're falling into, manholes in the street and trying to get in bakeries and stuff like that. What are you missing most right now in this new world? And what do you can't wait to, once hopefully we return to some normalcy, what's the first thing you really kind of want to do?
Well, first of all, I really missed the opportunity to go back to Cuba. We were supposed to go back in January. I really want to support the people there. I really want to see my friends. But again, for me, what I really miss is the interaction, right? Like, so for instance, I was overjoyed. I thought I was going to LA this week. I thought we were going to shoot. We had all the COVID protocols in place, every little detail worked out, and the plug still got pulled. So that's what I miss. I miss the collaboration. I miss creating those little production families for a little while, like when the SALT kids are in our studio, like they become family, and they've gone on, like we've had guest photographers or photographers that we've worked with. They've come in the studio and then they've gone out to work with them on real jobs, assisting or teching or doing stuff like that. So just think about all the amazing people that we've got to meet just through photography, just through the shared passion for this art, you know?
It really is quite magical. And I want to thank you for joining us. I hope you join us back at 5:30. Where can people find, I want people to find your work. You're doing amazing stuff, photography on all the, why don't you tell people about the graffiti artists in Cuba and the skateboarders, because I think that's amazing work, and where people can find, tie it up with SALT as well.
Yeah, so I have a great story about bailing out one of the graffiti artists that you and I will talk about offline so that the government doesn't come after me. But yeah, I think, the SALT website is the best place to become familiarized with it. If you really want the personality of SALT, it's like anything else. You want a personality of any artist, go to the Instagram feed, go to the Facebook feed. I think that's where our personality and the kids really come through. Another thing that Devin is running, right, full circle. Now he's in charge of the social media as well. But does that answer your question?
Yeah, I think it does, brother. I hope you visit us back at 5:30.
I mentioned one thing is a great way for people to help out too is periodically SALT has print sales, the amazing work of their talented students, and that's a great way to add to your photography collection while helping out SALT.
And there's
we put together a beautiful book for the year-end show this year, which is it's stunning. It's again because we shifted gears mid-semester to have them express themselves about what was going on, and it's almost a time capsule of what happened in the pandemic in the early days. So it's pretty cool.
That's
but
wonderful.
Thank you. I know you have other people and folks to talk to.
Yeah, we got a full day of scheduling here, and hopefully we're going to be seeing you in a little while anyway. So come back, and we'll see you shortly. Thank you so much.
Thanks to the both of you, and thanks for everybody listening. Take care.
Thank you, Michael.